EJ, I know you're focused an awful lot on your accuracy and improving that in the offseason. How do you keep it maybe out of your head and just play out here on the practice field, like not make it a conscious thing, even though you did work on it as much as you said you did this offseason?
It's funny when you don't think about it that much. It just kind of instinctually happens, I think. And I think what really helped is just the preparation before going into practice and, knowing the plays and that I'm going to run and just being able to dissect it myself and having a better understanding of what I'm doing on the field versus whatever defense they throw at us. I think that's what really helps the accuracy.
EJ, Rex mentioned earlier that the QB competition doesn't really begin until training camp. To what extent do you agree with that or disagree?
I think right now you just want to put your best foot forward. As a competitor, as an athlete, you always want to go out and do your best. You don't want to put anything bad on film. So, whether that's true or not, I don't know. But I think as an athlete, you got to go out there and do your best every time.
I mean, how did it feel, at least after the first couple practices so far?
Felt really good. Like I said, we're having fun. And I think that's the kind of environment Rex wants us to have. But for me personally, I felt very good about the past 2 practices.
Knowing you guys want to be perfect on offense while also being realistic and knowing that defensive units are typically ahead, how do you take that grain of salt and not get frustrated and stuff, knowing that it's a process?
Well, I think being that I'm a little older now, I don't get as frustrated if something doesn't go right how we want it to. And, at the end of the day, this practice is our second day into OTAs. I think we've done well as an offense, but, I think you have to understand that it is a process. We're putting in new plays every day, and obviously the defense is doing new things over there. And we're not game planning those guys. So, sometimes they might have our number, but other times we'll have theirs. So it don't really matter.
Does it fire you up to know that there are people that think you could wind up number 3, that's conceivable?
It doesn't fire me up. I think, if I just continue to focus on what I need to do to continue to get better, I think that's what just matters for me.
You feel like it's hard to believe because you were the starting quarterback, under the radar a bit? Because there seems to be a lot of buzz about Tyrod, and Castle's a 10-year veteran. Do you feel like you're kind of like under the radar in this competition maybe, or?
I don't. I feel like I'm right there in the mix. So just got to continue to go out every day and get better.
How much better, how much different for you is it to be in this more fun atmosphere when it comes to OTAs and camp?
Yeah, well, I think it just, really allows all of us to just be ourselves. We don't feel like we have to go out there. It's not a lot of pressure or anything like that. And what I mean by fun, you just go out and make plays instead of, feeling like you got to force things to happen and whatnot. If it's a bad play, move on to the next one. I think that's the kind of mindset we need to have as a team.
How important was it to you to hear Rex Ryan and your team rally behind you amid this report that you could be cut before the end of by the end of training?
It was great. I appreciate it, but like I said, I don't really buy into all the extra stuff being said. I just focus on what I need to focus on, and I feel like nobody knows what to put in around and stuff like that. So to me, that's what gives me my confidence. And when I see I'm doing better out there on the field, that's all that matters to me.
Was it had to be reassuring to some degree?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you obviously appreciate it when guys on your team and your coach have your back when things like that are being said. But at the end of the day, I think my biggest focus is just continue to get better in these practices and just show coach what I can do.
Do you think there's some small edge for you in this competition, knowing those Tyrod and Matt are new to a lot of the personnel that's here? I know there's offensive additions, at the skilled positions, but a lot of these guys. You've thrown to a lot of these guys. Do you think that gives you some measurable edge there going into this thing?
I think it's I don't know. I don't buy into all that stuff, man. I think the main thing is just going out and producing. It really doesn't matter if we're throwing the guys I've been throwing to for the past 2 years or somebody brand new. I think, at the end of the day, you have to be a pro and, you just show what you can do.
Where do you think that reports like that come from? If you hear your coaches back you as loudly as they did pretty quickly, where do you think stuff like that comes from?
I don't know. I don't know, to be honest. And I think from the outside looking in, people will have an opinion. But like I said, people don't know the work that we put in and the things that we've been doing, these past couple of weeks. So I guess they can only judge from what they've seen, and that's fine. I think every day is a new day. And I'm just, like I said, I'm really excited in the position I'm in right now.
EJ, back here, sorry. We need to keep turning around. Okay. Last year there was a lot of talk about maybe having too many guys, too many voices talking to you, things like that. Whether or not that's true or not, what is the line of communication this year? If you have a question after a play, something happens, who do you go to first? Is it David Lee? Is it Coach Roman? How does that work?
Well, right now, Coach Roman has been on the field with us. Like, we're split right now, so if we have a question, we ask him. But I think, the good thing about Coach Roman, he allows Coach Lee to be the coach. You know what I'm saying? He coaches the quarterbacks, and obviously Coach Roman's in the room with us, but, he does a great job, letting his position coaches coach. So either guy, you can ask the question, they'll get the answer for you.
Is it better for a quarterback to have that one guy that, hey, I know I just got to go to him, get things straightened out, and go back on, instead of having maybe 3 or 4 voices telling you different things?
I don't know. I think as a quarterback, to some certain extent, you have to also be able to coach yourself too. You have to know the offense as well as the coaches, and I think a quarterback is really a coach on the field. So you shouldn't really have that many questions. But the good thing is, if you do have a question, they both can answer it for you.
Are you bigger physically, upper body, or have you changed yourself a little bit in that way?
Yeah, I probably put on like maybe 8 or 10 pounds, and throughout the off season, and yeah, I feel a lot better this way. I still feel like I'm quick and fast and be able to move around. So I think that's just about being durable and obviously being able to take a full season.
TJ, is it tough at all not having Sammy out there? I know this is early in the offseason, but you're still trying to build that chemistry.
Yeah, well, I think Sammy's a very smart guy anyway. So you see him, even when he's not getting these actual physical reps, he's right behind the receiver that he will be, doing the same thing, and he's calling out the play and all that kind of stuff. I hear him calling out coverages and stuff. So, as a quarterback, that makes you feel really happy to know that your receiver is, not just a physical specimen, but also, a very cerebral guy too.
Yeah, how much is it different throwing to guys when you don't have Sammy, who is a guy you targeted a lot last year?
I think all the receivers do a great job. One thing I'm proud of is these guys are really locked in. And even before we got into OTAs, when we were here for mini camp and, the practices where we were just going through plays, I felt like guys were going home studying the night before. It wasn't a lot of communication. It was just like, hey, let's run the play and let's do what we do.
How much room do you think Sammy has to grow, even after having almost 1,000 yards?
Yeah, I think the sky's the limit for Sammy, and Sammy knows that. And so, obviously he's going to be his toughest critic, just like, I feel like when you want to be great, that's kind of how you are as an athlete. That's how you're wired. But, Sammy, he can be as good as he wants to be.